Hey everyone, the pre-patch for Classic Cataclysm has been running for almost 2 weeks now. The dust has finally settled when it comes to the major bugs that plagued the start, and the game is set to release on May 20th. And throughout the last couple weeks since launch, the community has discovered a lot of super strong ways to gear up main and alt characters in the matter of hours, from basically green leveling gear to ICC 25-man heroic equivalent levels of gear. I wanted to put these methods to the test as I recently switched to NA servers and boosted a newly created character with the Blazing edition of Cataclysm. Side note, I'll be giving away one EU code for this at the end of the video that you can win thanks to Blizzard, who gave me a code to distribute to you guys. But more on this at the end of the video. But yeah, I wanted to give these methods of gearing up a try on this newly boosted character. And the result is I managed to gear up my warrior with a bunch of 270 eye level gear in just a day. That's very close to ICC 25-man heroic levels of gear. And in just a few days, I'll have tons more gear ready for the Kata release. And the best part is, anyone can do this with no pre-requirements and no gear at all. So today, I'll be showing you exactly how you can do this yourself too. Let's get into it. So, what this method is going to involve is buying everything you can from these two vendors in the Dalaran sewers, Trapjaw Rigs and Nargol Lashcourt. These two sell item level 270 PvP gear and 277 weapons for super cheap, since Blizzard decreased the honor requirement to buy these items by 66% about a week ago. And I know what you're thinking. Ew, PvP? Well, the best part about this is that the fastest ways to get the most amount of honor are super chill and don't require you to kill a single player if you don't want to. And you'll still get all this gear as fast as someone who does. Believe me, PvP is really not my cup of tea either, and gearing up doing this was super chill and easy. Also, yes, PvP gear has resilience on it, which isn't really a stat you need outside of PvP, but the gear itself is still quite strong even in PvE. It still has your main stat on it and a bunch of crit, spell power and so on. And most importantly, it will increase your average item level, which is suggested for the longer part of your gearing up journey once you're ready for Gamma dungeons. But before you get started on this, if you haven't already, go ahead and join a guild. Any guild really. You could even create one if you want to. This is because guilds give a bunch of perks to their members, from reducing the cooldown on your Hearthstone to increasing your riding speed, and you'll be flying and hearthing back to Dalaran quite often for this. Lastly, before we start, this is a gearing guide, but you need to know that the jump in gear power in Cataclysm is insane, and you'll be replacing all this gear from literally green quest rewards as you're leveling in Cataclysm zones, so you really don't need to go super hard on this. So, now that you've got your character ready and joined the guild, what's the fastest way to gain honor in the pre-patch? There's 3 things really. Grizzly Hills Dailies, Winter Grasp, and Alterac Valley, in this specific order, because Grizzly Hills Dailies are, well, dailies, and they give the easiest and fastest amount of honor. Winter Grasp is a battleground that you can only run every 3 hours and is the next easiest way to get honor. And finally, you can spam AV as much as you want, but it's the slowest of the 3, but the most consistent of course, as you can spam it. So depending on how fast you want to gear up, you can choose at which step of this 3-step process you want to stop. Personally, I did all 3 of these things repeatedly. I started in the evening, and I managed to get all the gear from the vendor the next day with just a few hours of game time. But if you have more limited time, you can stretch this out throughout a few more days and skip doing AV, for example. Starting with Grizzly Hills Dailies. There's 4 of those, and they're super quick and easy to do. And you don't need to kill a single player if you don't want to. The first quest is from this NPC for the Alliance, or this one for the Horde. It involves killing 10 NPCs or players at the Black River logging camp. Once you've done that, turn it in and let's fly southwest to Venture Bay. There's an Alliance camp and a Horde camp at these coordinates, and you'll be able to pick the last 3 quests from the NPCs here. Now, there is a 4th quest that asks you to pick element 115 inside a boat, but I would skip that one as it only gives 1 honor for some reason. So, fly to the Venture Bay docks and complete those last 3 quests. You'll have to kill 10 NPCs or players, bomb 10 Venture Company mobs, and kill an easy level 75 elite. Turn those quests in in, and there you go. You should already have 220 honor, and that can already buy you the gloves if you wanted to. But let's move on to the next step, which is doing Winter Grasp. For this, it's straightforward really. Just open your PvP menu, select Winter Grasp whenever it's available every 3 hours. You have a 15-minute window to queue for it, so I would put up an alarm to remind you. Winter Grasp itself gives a decent amount of honor, but there are also weekly quests you can do that can reward you with a bunch of honor as well. Some only give 24 honor, but a couple of them give 240 honor. You can pick these outside a battle from the Winter Grasp Fortress and from your faction camp in the outskirts of the zone. Players can also share them before a battle begins, but that doesn't seem to work all the time for some reason. Just go around, follow players, whether you're on the attacking or defending side, and try to get a few kills if you want. But basically, you want to wait for this to end, which takes around 30 minutes, and you'll be awarded with your honor in the end and all throughout while enemy players die around you. One more thing about Winter Grasp, if you're attacking the fortress, avoid building catapults as they're quite weak. Instead, only build demolishers or siege engines. Most Winter Grasp groups fall in the trap of building a bunch of catapults at the start, filling up their available vehicles with a useless vehicle. Just wait till you're rank 2 and build demolishers or siege engines. Finally, we have Alterac Valley. AV is a particular battleground because most AVs end up with both sides just rushing to the boss of the opposite faction and nuking it as fast as they can. It's really a PvE battleground kinda. But yeah, after you do both Winter Grasp and Grizzly Hills dailies, queue for AV and spam it as many times as you can to get a ton of honor super fast. The goal here is to get to the boss alive, so follow everyone and try to avoid mages and rogues on the way, which will try to slow you down and kill you. You could do that to the other camp yourself if you're a class that can CC a bunch of players at once, as that seems to be the strategy to win AVs lately. Once you're at the boss, wait for the tank to pull and do as much damage as you can. Run away from him if you're a melee though when he starts spinning, or you'll die very fast. And if your faction was quick enough, you'll win and get a bit more honor that way, but you'll still get honor either way at the end. Now that's the idea, and that's how 9 out of 10 AVs go. But every now and then, a situation will happen where for one reason or the other, both the Horde and the Alliance raids wipe on the bosses. So they will respawn on opposite graveyards, and the AV will just stall in the middle forever. The rule of thumb here is if an AV lasts for more than 5 minutes, just go ahead and leave it right away. Yes, you'll get a 15-minute deserter debuff, but the time you'll save will still be higher than staying in a stalled AV for 30+ minutes. And those are the 3 activities you'll be running on repeat as soon as they're available. Do your Grizzly Hills dailies, run Winter Grasp once it's up, and fill the rest of the time with AV. If you do this, you'll have all the gear and the weapons on the PvP vendor in just a few hours of game time, and you'll already have a solid amount of gear for leveling in Cataclysm. But if you have more time and you want to take it a bit further, let's see what you can do next. From here, you can go one of 2 routes. If you want to continue doing PvP for a few more rewards, there is actually another vendor at your PvP hole in your capital city. This vendor sells the rest of the Wrathful Gladiator gear, like the belt, bracers, cloak, etc. However, these will take proportionally much longer to get, as they cost around 1.5 to 2 times more than the main armor gear from the other vendor for some reason. But yeah, if you want to keep doing what you are doing for these more expensive but less powerful rewards, it's up to you. Your second option would be to start farming and spending justice points. This is a new currency introduced in Cata, and it will allow you to buy item level 264 gear from this NPC. Obviously, only buy stuff that won't replace your PvP gear, as the PvP gear itself is stronger. So things like belts, boots, or cloaks are the things you want to buy with justice points. That being said, those items are quite expensive, and you'll be doing dailies for a few days before you can buy everything you want from here. And also, I would really focus on reaching the justice points cap of 4,000 before going into Cataclysm, as once Cata drops, you'll be able to buy super strong gear with this currency that costs just as much, rather than spending justice points on this easily replaceable gear. So keep that in mind and decide how much time you want to invest in this. But basically, the fastest way to get justice points is to go to this NPC in Dalaran, Archmage Landalock. Pick all the dailies from him. One of these quests is actually a weekly raid quest and it gives 138 justice points, so look to do it throughout the week. But most importantly, you want to do the other 2 dailies every day. Now, you can do both these dailies at once by queuing and completing a Gamma Rune dungeon. Gamma Rune dungeons are kind of the Mythic Plus version of Heroic dungeons in Wrath, but they're actually super easy to do now in Prepatch with all the new talents players received. One advice I can give you while you run these Gamma dungeons is always look where you're standing. If there's something that looks weird under your feet, you'll probably die if you stand in it. Also, talk to the Silver Covenant NPC that you can summon by clicking the ring in your bags and pick the option that corresponds to your role. This will give you a buff that will make this dungeon go a lot smoother. Beyond that, you could now start doing ICC if you really wanted to, but honestly, at this point, you have some very strong gear that will be more than enough for leveling. I would just wait till the 20th when Cata releases, because you'll be replacing all that hard-earned gear super quickly by just doing regular quests, so there's no need to invest time into raids. But if you really wanted to kill the Lich King before Cata releases, nothing is preventing you from it. So, I talked about the giveaway at the start. Again, this is only for EU accounts, and it will be running from the moment this video is posted till the release of Cataclysm on the 20th. All you need to do to participate is go to this Twitter post, link in the description, and simply click on like. If you want to follow and retweet, I would appreciate it, but it's not required to win. And that's it. Good luck to everyone who participates. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe, as there will be a lot more content like this in the future. My name is Numidia, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye for now.